What up, y'all? How you doing? This is your boy Gerald. It is Monday, the 23rd of May, 2016. How is everybody doing? Hope you're doing fine. It is rainy here in Virginia Beach, Virginia. I swear it looks like a snapshot of autumn. And when you step out, you think that you are on the verge of fall. But I'll use that as a springboard because what's falling is the illusions, and clarity is coming in your life. And the question that should be asked is what and why did it take so long? Why all of a sudden now you are starting to see the things that have been revealed, and you're starting to have understanding that everything that is being revealed has its place. So how you doing, y'all? How was your weekend? I know some of y'all, it was very eventful now, wasn't it? Some of y'all got the validation that already resonated inside you. You knew this for a long time. You knew it, but because of that fear, you didn't go there. Maybe there was a truth that you were connecting your loyalty to. Maybe that truth was nothing but denial masked, and now you can't, and it's gotten you feel a certain way. I know that some of y'all right now, you're starting to take that breath. You're starting to stand up. You're starting to look within, and you're starting to do the work. Because I understand. See, socially, we don't want to rock the boat. We want to just keep on keeping on. We don't want to bring attention, but we also know that that would not sit well. You would be more or less taking a position to settle. And we know that's not you now, right? We know that's not you. So now you are able to look that person back in the mirror that has always been there and give yourself what you rightfully need. I commend you on that, y'all, because it's a long time overdue. Yeah, it is. Because now you are starting to not only take in that cognitive thought, you are listening. You are listening to what is being said. No, I'm not talking about what comes out your mouth or what they tell you. I'm talking about what is not being said. That is standing out like a red barn. And it's pissing you off now, isn't it? Because you're starting to see that your environment did not want you to grow. They wanted to mold you, manipulate you, but keep you bound. I'm not saying this to piss you off this morning because this is a day of celebration for you. Yeah, it is. Because you waking up one step closer to yourself. See, there was a lot of people that unfortunately, I spoke this almost 4 years ago. And because I was learning this about myself, understanding my self-worth. And I didn't understand why some of the struggles, some of the things that were being revealed always had a price connected to it. And I noticed the price always was discomfort. It was never easy. But here's the thing. When it comes to you, there is no shortcuts. It is supposed to be precise, just like a mason's brick. A mason's brick, a mason, he doesn't go and grab the mortar to make the brick and say, well, I'm just going to put this here and just fit it in there and put a dab here and it'll hold up. No, everything is rightfully measured. That's why we hear that with that proverb, measure twice, cut once. Because when it comes to your life was made perfect. But if you listen to those people that you have allowed to align themselves with, they'll just tell you what you want to hear, y'all. Because they don't want you to have the clarity. You know why they don't want you to have the clarity? Because they don't want you to see your worth. Because the moment that you see your worth, guess what? You're going to mess up whatever they had planned for you. I know I'm talking to someone. So tell me, explain to me again why you don't deserve to be happy. Explain to me again why you do not deserve to have a truthful conversation with whoever you choose to have that with. Jack Nicholson said it very best when he played the Colonel in A Few Good Men. He said, you can't handle the truth. And I can use that metaphorically because most people that walk on this planet don't want the truth because the truth don't fit. Because the truth will always require focus and attention as needed. So let's look at your life. Explain to me why your dreams, your hopes, your desires got to take the back seat to your life. Explain to me that. Why is it every time that you say, you know what, I need to do this for me, here they come. Now mind this is positive actions. Here they come. They do this because they don't want you to grow. So guess what? They don't want you to take that spiritual ankle bracelet off of you. They want you to stay the status quo. That's why they will hit you with descriptive words of, oh, you think you this, you think you that. Who do you think you are? What gave you the right? And you sit there and you take in all this negative criticism, but not one time do you turn around for yourself and say, I'm doing it for me. I need this. That's what is worth my time, my investment. You got one life. I had, first of all, let me go back. Queens, you know I love you. You know I do. Kings, I'm walking with you. But until you see your worth of your time, your number one commodity that you will ever possess is your time. Because time is money. Time is nothing but the measuring stick of the investment, the action. So ask yourself this. If you see it, you feel it to be true, why doesn't it reflect for those who are in your midst? I'm going to tell you why. Because you're afraid. That is a human response. Fear. Finally, everything's a reality. If it wasn't, why is it that it is now condoned to dumb down to fit in a desired community, association? It's condoned now. Why? Because people do not embrace their uniqueness. I ain't got to tell you that. Kings, look at the queens out here. They all look alike. They all sound alike. They might as well be clones. Bad behavior is accepted. Queens, where does the list end? But the perpetual cycle continues from one generation to the next. Why? Why is that? You say to yourself, well, Gerald, I want a man to do A, B, C, and D, right? But you settle for him. Is that not a contradiction? Kings, you say, I need a woman to have that. But you turn around and put yourself in a place where you don't belong and have the audacity to get mad that the outcome that comes out of it is what it is. Don't you realize we have a custom tailored God who loves you so much? You can't tell me he don't love you. You can't tell me he don't love you because guess what? You're watching this video. That means you're alive. Which means, guess what? You have an opportunity to go in any direction you choose. I remember there's this gospel song. It's a classic. It's called Mary, Don't You Weep. I know Aretha Franklin made it famous. Um, and a lot of other artists have tried to do their rendition of it. But it wouldn't be until not too long ago I understood why Mary wept. Because there's a lot of Marys out here. There's a lot of Marys walking around trying to figure out who they are by way of the actions and decisions made. And the result is it's temporary. Yeah, it is. Instead of grounding your feet, we run to impulse only to have to acknowledge time, commerce, and opportunity squandered. So I understand why Mary weeps, because Mary don't know Mary. She don't. And every time Mary tries to find that place of truth within herself, she can't grasp that. because she's distracted to what's outside her door, only waiting to add more pain. See, Mary was a good girl, eyes wide to the world, with hopes, dreams of aspirations of one day what she would become. But see, Mary had a hole in her heart. Mary had that hole where love should have been. And instead of allowing herself to heal, to understand all of the things of what she's been exposed to, all she did was widen the divide. All she did was find a place to more or less have fortitude. But in actuality, it was servitude. So I understand why Mary's weeping, because Mary is watching time go by and watching the people come and go and come and go. And placement is starting to be like a treadmill. And that conditioning is starting to have an effect not only on her physicality, but her emotional state of being. So I understand why Mary weeps. Yes, I do. Because deep down inside, that little girl still lives inside her, still wide eyes open, sending a message or two of, why won't you love me? Why won't you protect my character and self-esteem? Why do you choose to water down your self-worth and ambition? So I understand why Mary weeps. And unfortunately, we live in a world, there's a many of Mary, because Mary just needs to be loved. She hasn't given herself permission to forgive herself, because then that means you are treading on uncommon ground. That uncommon ground is the real you. I know I'm talking to someone. Walking with them is not going to make the pain go away. All it does is mark time. But we also know this too. Until you decide to love yourself, you can't take accountability for your choices. And until you decide to take accountability for your choices, you won't know where you're going. And if you don't know where you're going, you'll never see your purpose. So there, metaphorically, is that doing time in your mind. Because now we've gotten to a place where it's more easier to look the other way than look inside ourselves. Because to look inside ourselves, that means we are real. Because guess what? Even Gerald's got baggage. But guess what? I love me some me. Because see, I know this. Doesn't matter if society throws the kitchen sink in front of my steps. I know that God's got something better. I know that no matter what the sacrifice or illusion of what is destined for me is authentic, custom tailored, and it is blessed. You know, I find myself from time to time, Minnie Riperton had a classic called Back Down Memory Lane. And I smile now when one time I used to cry. I used to cry a lot, y'all. Man, When Justin Timberlake said, "Cry me a river," oh yes, sir. I didn't get these bags for nothing. But what I also came to realize was the tears that I shed, they weren't for me. They weren't for me. They were for those people that fell short, those people that I come to know, those people that had endless blessings that have yet to be discovered. Because see, we have free will, y'all. But see, I also know this. See, that devil's a liar. And if you let that devil in your life, he will do a bait and switch on you. He'll have you feeling their burdens that are not yours. How many times have you felt a certain way for somebody and they are oblivious to what's going on in their life? And you feel their pain. You feel their shame. You feel their disappointment over and over and over and over and over. You know why you're feeling that? See, the devil brings that out for you to attack that heart. Because, see, when God blessed you with the breath of life, your legacy was written. I know some of y'all are feeling this now. I know you're feeling it. You're seeing things that have played out and you're analyzing it. And there are things that you know that you have experienced that you know you should have never had to endure. And you know what? You're right. You shouldn't have. But that was also a blessing in disguise because what was being shrouded in denial from the darkness, see, God was also showing mercy to you. I know somebody said, well, how, Gerald? How is God showing mercy when I feel a certain kind of way? I feel numb. I feel frozen. I feel outside myself. How is that mercy, Gerald? My king, my queens. What you are witnessing is the transparency of what you don't need. How do you know what you don't need if you don't experience it? That's like having an opinion on a subject matter you know nothing about. And we all know that there are plenty of people that have a lot of this, but don't have a lot of that because they can't relate. Doesn't make them less than. It just means they have not experienced it. And then there should be some things that should only be shared through wisdom. How you receive it will be your insight. Why? Because you have purpose. You have a specific reason why you here. But you got to be real with yourself. You think that you're supposed to be the Saturday night special? Hmm? I know I'm talking to somebody. You got a PhD. You got a PhD in getting it in. Yeah, you do. And every time you turn around and try to shift it so it works in your favor, what happens? Another layer of pain, another face, another disappointment, another year. And I know that deep down inside, all you want to do is be happy. First of all, None of that is going to happen as long as you keep lying to yourself. You got to stop lying, y'all. Stop lying to yourself. Don't you realize that's why the people in your circle don't tell you the truth? Because you lying to you. What I always say to y'all, energy out is energy in. So what you put out is going to be the reality that you walk in, only to be reciprocated back to you. Why? Because you're not living your life. There ain't no blessings going to come with being an imitation of you, but dishonor, disrespect, numbness, pain. Why? These things all happen to attack your emotional state of being. So if you're feeling like you're on 10 emotionally, and you got all this bottled up, and you're that close to setting it off, I say to you to sit down, go within yourself, lay it out on the table. As far as that beautiful mind can go, look at what you experienced, and I guarantee you'll see a behavior. You'll see the patterns. You'll actually see the triggers, how people communicate with you, how they respond to you, and how you interact. The common denominator is you. But if you make a conscious decision, because this is a new week, to keep doing what you did yesterday, 6 months ago, 5 years ago, does it surprise you? You ain't happy? I'm saying this out of love. I'm saying this to someone. I know you hear me. Don't give up on yourself. See, think about it this way. I heard this and I wish I remembered where I heard it from because I will give them credit, but it is perfectly said. Anything that is not of your benefit genuinely occurs in seasons. You know why? Because what's required for your life is built forever. How about that heart? Now I could turn around and make this a little lighter for you, and I can say this. Why do you think that you can't keep a man in your life or a queen in your life? Have you found the commonality in that yet? Right off the gate, I'm gonna tell you why. Because that's not the one. Those people that have come into your life were showing you what you do not need. Because these are all traits still inside you. But if you will not look inside yourself, guess what? The disappointment continues. The betrayal continues. Denial continues. And the direction goes nowhere. So I understand why Mary weeps. Because someone told Mary, there's a way where you can detach yourself from sexual gratification and love. Don't you realize they were setting you up for the clip? Hmm? They were setting you up. They said, yeah, you know what? Look at intimacy in a detached point of view. And guess what? You won't have issues with your conscience. Who did that benefit? It benefited the devil. Because see, let me tell you something. Even though God breathed the breath of life in you and wrote your legacy, placed your purpose as it should be, he also placed the people that are going to impact your life. He sprinkled them through your lifeline. He did that for two reasons. Number one, he couldn't give it to you right from the door because emotionally you're not ready. You weren't. And number two, if you look a little deeper, look at the people that were there in pivotal points of your life. These people are what I call a living constant. They're constantly there because guess what? That connection is by spirit, not by flesh. Mhm. I know there's somebody right now, you feel a little embarrassed because you've gone through this. You met somebody, you were sexually attracted to them, had great communication, and the moment that you thought that bond was going to be intertwined sexually, they did a 360 and looked at you like, what are you doing? And you had to pick your face up and put it back on because you automatically assumed that it was your physical worth was the key or the glue for that bond. What you didn't realize is it was your friendship. What you didn't realize is they were able to see something in you that you could not. That's why you can't go to a orange tree and shake the branches before the fruit is ripened, before they bud. If that was possible, anybody could have it. But they knew it was those roots that were planted inside you that were unique and you were worth the harvest. Yes, you were. Yes, you were. So, where am I going with all this? Now, more importantly, you got to take the rules, take the sunglasses off, the alter ego, the persona, and claim your identity back. I tell you, when you decide to look yourself in the mirror, them tears will go away. Your heart will grow. Because some of y'all are walking around like the Grinch, part like this, cavity like that. Why? Because you've let your wounds and your experiences have an impact on the way you see the world. But guess what? You're in the world. So guess what? You have, you're the reason of what you see. But you tell those people that want to, these new agers that want to talk about the law of attraction. Let me tell you something. The law of attraction summed up is spirit. Wherever your spirit gravitates, that's what you're going to attract. Bottom line. So if God ain't in it, do you actually think it's going to last? No. I say this with all compassion. I got this feeling in my spirit right now. I got this feeling there's a king out there, and you are going through some turmoil with your significant other, and you are in a place of truth. You want transparency. You want to strengthen your relationship with this person. Let me tell you something. This person's not going to tell you the truth. I'm going to just let you know that right now. They're not. Because the whole reason y'all got together, it was fear-based. Something happened that brought y'all together by default. That's just like people saying, well, I got issues and you got issues, but we're going to work, we're going to ride together and make a whole relationship. No, you don't. You just make a whole lot of mess. But guess what? What you're doing is you're aligning yourself with someone that thinks, well, guess what? You're not going to call me out on my flaws. So I'm going to ignore your flaws. But that's not what you need. Why do you want a person that cannot communicate effectively? Tell me what you need. Give me the opportunity to choose if I want to embark in that. Most people won't. That's why it's so normal nowadays to be friends. No, to be lovers before friends. And then when you try to invest in the friendship, it fails. You know why? Because secretly, or better yet, until you see this for yourself, which this is where the pain comes. These people didn't love you because they didn't love themselves. You were nothing but entertainment or a means to get them to where they needed to be or thought where they desired to be. And that's where the conflict comes in. That's when the devil will pick up that kitchen sink and throw it at you. Haven't you noticed every time that you align yourself with people, or every time you take it upon yourself to put yourself in some situation with someone who has not earned a right to hear you breathe, there's always some conflict. Because the truth is, these people don't know you. So they're not going to be an open book to you. And if you don't watch what comes from your mouth, guess what? All they're going to do is use a means to, just as quick as they came in, is just as quick as they came out. And more importantly, people want the harvest without least investment. I know I'm talking to someone. You didn't slept with over 20 people this year, and not one person said they wanted to be committed to you. What's wrong with that picture? What's wrong with that picture? But yet, you still keep giving them a pass. And they keep hurting you over and over and over again. What I tell you? This will get you in trouble. But y'all don't listen. Because see, nowadays everybody wants false validation. They want to be false celebrities. I call them false sellouts because that's really what they are, because they don't want to invest in who they are. But on the same breath, you get mad because there's no ring on your finger. Do you not see the commonality in that? You deserve to be honored. You deserve to be protected. You deserve to be loved. But none of that matters until you love yourself. I know you hear me. You don't like what I'm saying because it's the truth. You think that to be with them, You signed up to be the punching bag. He calls you out your name, and you sit there and accept it because of his status. What separates you from that spare tire in his car? I know I'm talking to somebody, so he can turn around and say, well, I didn't mean to do it. You pissed me off. It's your fault. Let me tell you something. He learned that from his environment. I know I'm talking to somebody. And what do? You suppress it. You know what happens to people that suppress their truth? They end up dead or in prison. Because what'll happen is it'll be that little thing that will set them off. You think God's in that? He's not. Or I like this one. She tells you everything you want to hear and gives you minimal interaction. You spend time scratching your head hoping that one day that she will see the value of your time, but it gets worse and you condone. All of a sudden, what you thought was there is not. You know why? You know why? I'll tell you why. You're dealing with a person that values the world more than themselves. I know I'm talking to someone. Queens, God made you perfect from the moment you took your first breath. Everything that you need to navigate your life is here. If you don't protect this, you're not going to fully understand this. You think the response that you want is taken serious when you have your outburst? I know somebody's going to say, well, Gerald, a woman's supposed to be seen, not heard, but contradicting. A woman who loves herself, it is her grace that can control every the midst she's in. You too, King. Because see, fear cannot be where love exists. Because love is an extension of God. I know I'm talking to somebody. So tell me again why you don't deserve to be loved. Let me tell you something. It is not easy to be on this planet. It's not. There's not a manual out there to teach you to be a man. No, they're not going to do that. I'm going to tell you why they're not going to do that. Number one, it messes up money. They need that ideology to continue. So I know some of y'all might be saying, well, Gerald, I'm going through life just throwing darts, hoping I hit something, and then I'll use that as a means to navigate and adjust as needed. Why don't you adjust this? Who told you that you're going to spend the rest of your days by yourself? Who told you that those people that are in your midst are going to be there the rest of your life? Who told you that? Who told you that? I'll tell you that. I'll tell you who told you that. It's the same people that want to convince you you ain't worth your purpose. It's true. So maybe, just maybe, this week you do something that you hadn't done. You'll get up off the ground, stop holding on to that victim card. It's kind of funny too when you think about it, because it's the same process of people that hold on to the proverbial player card. It's both generated by fear. The fear is defined by lack of intimacy of self and making the conscious decision to commit to yourself. So the question should be asked, what about that little boy and little girl that lives inside you? When you gonna nurture them? Hmm? Yeah, because you're blessed to see another day. You're blessed to blow out another candle of your life, referring to your birthday. When are you going to nurture that little boy and little girl that's inside you? Hmm? Come on, Queens. Why are you so worried about what your girlfriend's doing when you need to worry about what you're doing? Hmm? Everybody around you is getting married, and you ain't married. But you notice everybody that they've married, they ain't happy. That should tell you right there. What you're seeing indirectly is insight on what not to do. Well, guess what? I guarantee you a nickel to a dime, their mates don't have a relationship with God. They don't know nothing about them vows. And let's not get this misconstrued. Hold that thought 1 second. Hold that thought, because I got something for you. Yeah, I got something for you. You know how I said that everything occurs in seasons? You've heard the poem, people come into your life for a reason, season. But I also believe that people come into your life to serve as a blessing. But I also understand this too. Haven't you noticed that all the things that have been done on impulse cannot be measured until the conclusion has been revealed? In other words, you have people that have this mindset. They say, well, Gerald, I used to be a big old hoe out here. I hurt a lot of people. I broke a lot of eggs and burned a lot of bridges. And I know that I was selfish, but the next relationship I get in, I'm going to be the quintessential mate. And they think that, well, if they sacrifice themselves to the relationship, it's going to undo all the things that they've done prior to then. Little do they know, you're going to suffer far more than you've ever. You know why? Because that relationship serves as tribulation. They think, well, you know what? Yeah, he's out there cheating on me. I know he's out there cheating on me. I have all the proof, but who am I to say anything about it because I was worse than that? I'll just hold on to hope and he or she will just come out of it. Let me tell you something. We have this thing called free will. And while you in that tribulation, guess what happens? You get a whole lot of clarity. You tap into a whole lot of authenticity too, because you see yourself in that person. You see yourself in that environment, and you can pinpoint things down because you're seeing a mirror reflection of yourself. But here's the thing about it. Free will is still there. But you know what else is still there? Denial, deception, and pain. And it's there because you have to admit to yourself you were wrong. And most people won't. They won't admit that they made bad choices. They have this get over someone is to get under someone else mentality, only to inflict more pain, only to continue more servitude. You think because you're married or in a committed relationship, that gives them a pass to disrespect you? How about hold your dreams and aspirations hostage? Hmm? No, no. When you actually should look at it in the reverse. If you really genuinely treasured our time, why won't you be transparent with me? Why won't you open yourself up? Because see, your mate should be your best friend. And your mate also should be spiritual. Because I'm gonna tell you what, Queen, unlike all these disparities out here, I understand that some of y'all are thinking that you've had the best sex of your life with Thurman over there. Because Thurman don't he don't care. He don't care about your dreams. He don't care about your aspirations. He says whatever comes out of his mouth. And every time he can, he puts the boot on your neck. And you interpret it as, well, he ain't gonna put up with my foolishness. She ain't gonna put up with my foolishness. So I better act right. He might go upside my head if I don't have that meal the way he wanted with the parsley on the side. Don't you realize you can't make nobody do what they don't want to do? I know I'm talking to someone. Only for you to suffer in silence. You so beside yourself, you got to get in your car, drive far away before the first tear will fall because you have an arrogance about you that if you allow anyone to tap into your emotions, you think you're weak. That just makes you alive. That makes you transparent. That makes you human. So I understand why Mary weeps. Because see, if Mary's lucky to see the age of 60, Mary got a huge body count. She's had a lot of fools lay on top of her, only to fill her head and manipulate her steps. Charlie too. Charlie has felt it with his finances. He knows where he should be economically, but Charlie is still broken, yet still in denial, still repeating the cycle. You think that's supposed to be your life? I beg to differ. So this is a brand new week, y'all. Why don't you do something different? You already know what you don't need, and you also know what you desire. You know it, because that little boy and little girl tells you every day. You look in the mirror, and that little boy and that little girl says, "Why won't you love me? Why won't you protect me? Why won't you honor me?" The question is, why won't you? But see, you keep listening to what is on here, what is being pumped out in the media, what is played in the music that is out there. You think that the music industry don't know that? They know that. Why do you think they put what they put in the songs? Why do you think the drug epidemic is spiking now? Between the ages of 18 and 35, you have a heroin. You have a heroin pandemic going on. See, the things that they were using before as gimmicks, people are getting hip. You know why? Because they don't want you to use that beautiful mind of yours. Because they know that the moment that you decide to use that beautiful mind, you'll make sound decisions too. But more importantly, you got to be careful and leery of what's going on in the back end. Because guess what? You're not going to be always young. And the things that you do to your temple today will be the challenges that you're going to deal with later on. People don't think about that. You're getting your mind blown, sipping on that lean. Don't you realize you're killing your brain cells? I'm doing the same thing, smoking these damn cigarettes. They know that. And they know that half will only hear this message. Another half will dispel it because it is a behavior. It's a behavior, You can't say, oh, it just happened. No. Look at your life. You've been doing this for years. The outcome has always been the same. But you know what else has been the same? God has still been there. And I know some of y'all are saying, how? I done been through some hell, Gerald. Because God knows that the moment that you decide to wake up, your reality will be forever changed. The trade-off is the people that have systematically aligned themselves with you, they're going to be gone. And they know that too. That's why some of them have gotten so bold and brazen, will tell you in your face exactly what they're going to do. Because they know that right now, you're broken. You're vulnerable. You're impressionable. That's why there's so much information being targeted at our youth. They do it for two reasons. One, for financial sustainment, because they know we got to make sure that we have new customers. Don't matter what the product is. They got to make sure that customer loyalty is there. So is that consumer denial too. The greatest asset ever that you've come to know is you, your life. So if you're tired of suffering, you're tired of struggling, time for you to have that conversation with God. It doesn't matter what you got on. It doesn't matter where you are. Have that conversation from your heart. Because that's what first of all, he already knows what you're going to do. He knew that the moment you took your first breath. He already knew it. But guess what? He never gave up on you. And I know that needs to go to somebody, because on the outside, you've convinced everybody you got it going on. But inside, you are so fragile and you barely staying afloat. You know you are. You have an insecurity about yourself that you said, well, if I don't act or walk or respond a certain way, I'll be forgotten. Let me tell you something. You might not believe it, but there is one with your name assigned to their heart. And spiritually, once you have prepared, God is going to reveal them to you. There's no way around that. I want you to understand that. There's no shortcuts when it comes to your life. When you choose to take shortcuts, guess what? You cut your life short. So get on out the HOV lane and get to the right direction. And that's your legacy. My kings, why are you aligning yourself with someone that has no intentions on being there in the end? You know it. Everybody else knows it. Because even with a lie, there's a small fiber of truth in it. All you got to do is ground your feet to listen. Shouldn't feel like you have to have a peace treaty or pull teeth to get someone to respond. Why? If that's where you are, guess what? Wish them well. Wish them well. And step into your life. Don't worry. As you grow, you will heal. Take the stopwatch out of your life. I know some of y'all walk around, got that emotional burns going on. But some of y'all gotta be truthful too, because you with that person, because deep down inside, they remind you of them. I know I'm talking to someone. You say, well, Gerald, I've been all mundane my whole life. I feel like being a little extreme and doing stuff, but you ain't built for that. You know that ain't you. Why you want to invest in something that gives you nothing but negative? But those are your friends, right? Remember, friends are far and few between. But one thing I've come to learn about true friendship, it is spiritual. Why? Because they see your worth, because they know theirs. They tell you the truth, even if it hurts. They pray in your behalf that you'll continue to grow. But more importantly, they've already accepted the fact that they might not ever see the harvest that is you, but they pray that you get there. That's what being transparent is. And when you decide to be transparent with yourself, the clarity will come. But there is going to be a trade-off. Everything that was an illusion, a deception, or manipulation all falls. You know why? Because you were built for forever. I hope you have a blessed week. Sidestep the negative, ground your feet, and of course, place God first in everything you do. because you deserve to be happy. And if you're not, ask yourself why. God is praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. Somebody's going to leave out the work today only to come back home to a breakup. Don't be, don't, that's okay. Because guess what? You deserve an original, not an invitation, and not an imitation. So guess what? Wish them well, continue on, and watch what God shows you. Be blessed.